Hello, guys. It's Thor, and we are going to be talking about Ethereum today, which is my favorite cryptocurrency. You know, when I studied it a year ago, when I first was studying cryptocurrencies, this was like my favorite cryptocurrency because I loved how it had all this versatility and all these other purposes with the Ethereum network and the smart contracts and the NFTs. And I felt like there was big this whole big universe for it. And I felt like this is amazing. And this is really, you know, the cryptocurrency of the future, right? But this year we have some things that are coming up, and I feel like very soon here in the next couple months, we're going to be running into some turbulence. You guys might have noticed yesterday was April 29th, 2022. There was a big stock market drop. And I think the stock market went down 900 points or something like that. And there's a lot of problems that are upcoming on the horizon. We're seeing that it looks like there could be a probable recession. So when we're looking at cryptocurrencies and we're looking at their charts, we need to remember that these are not living in a vacuum. You know, it's not like it's in its own universe. All the cryptocurrencies, Ethereum included, they're going to be affected by what's going on in the world. And there's a lot that's going to be happening. And I think yesterday, April 29th, the first day that Saturn entered the sign of Aquarius, I think we got a little warning bell that there's some storm clouds up ahead. But I feel like Ethereum is going to be the cryptocurrency of security, of safety. And we're going to talk about that in just a moment. Let me share with you guys the presentation I have for you guys. Of course, guys, when we're talking about cryptocurrencies, you know, I have to give the disclaimer. This is not meant to replace any qualified advice, you know, from a qualified financial planner. I use the sidereal zodiac, not the Western tropical zodiac. So if you want to have a reading from me, your sign might be different because we're using the Vedic sidereal zodiac. So for example, in Western astrology, I'm a Cancer, but in Vedic astrology, I'm a Leo, okay? Also, guys, this is my interpretation of the data, and the videos for entertainment purposes only. And guys, please like and subscribe. My goal is 10,000 subscribers. I think I'm kind of moving up there. We got 1,100 subscribers, so I'm really happy. I mean, from a year ago, I think a year ago I was at like 600. So we've almost doubled it. So that's really good news. So I'm really happy. So like and subscribe. So I do want to talk to you guys a little bit about the situation. So I was talking about, you know, this idea that we're not living in a vacuum, that even when we're looking at an astrology chart, we're looking at the individual karma, but we're also kind of have this collective consciousness or world karma that's at play too. So there's different layers of karma, you guys. There's your individual karma, there's your community karma, your family karma, the karma of your nation, and then the karma of the world. So there's all these forces at work when we look at an astrology chart. So let's go back to the chart really fast. With the global situation, guys, as of today, which is April 30th, 2022, the inflation, last time I checked, is 8.4%. So that's obviously not good. People have less money to invest in assets because they're trying to keep up with the rising food and energy costs. The US GDP, guys, look at that. This last quarter, the first quarter of 2022, it's 1.4 negative percent. So the GDP actually contracted. Okay, so the system's blinking red. And also, guys, last month, in March, I was already seeing articles in mainstream media talking about the bond yield market. You know, it flashed that warning with the inverted yield curve, which can show a possible upcoming recession. So guys, the recession bells are ringing loud. Okay, so it's like ding, 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 ding. You know, we're hearing the recession bells are going this. So you got to remember that, you know, that when people have less money, we might see cryptos kind of collectively drop for a little bit. I do believe there's going to be government intervention though, because I actually see something really bad coming up in the future. And I think there's going to be direct government intervention, direct government injections actually of liquidity. Okay. That's going to be because Saturn's going to be in the 11th house, the natural 11th house, Aquarius. But I do feel like the government's going to have to step in. And I think they're raising interest rates. This is my personal opinion. They're raising interest rates, but it's not going to have a positive impact. Okay, so let's switch it back to, oops, I'm trying to figure out this. Let's take a look. There's going to be direct. Oops. What happened there? Okay. So let's go ahead, guys, and let's take a look at the chart. Of course, that's what we really want to look at, right? So the first thing you're going to want to notice when we look at Ethereum's chart is, you know, we did the basic chart analysis. If you guys go back to a year ago and you watch my original Ethereum video, we talked more about the general chart. But right now we're going to focus more about what's going on for 2022, because that's obviously what you guys want to know, right? Like what's going to happen, because if you guys have bought Ethereum, you guys are going to want to know what's going on. So the first thing we're going to want to look at, guys, obviously, just like I did with the Bitcoin video, the last video I did, we're going to look at what is the bupti that Ethereum is in. And you guys will see that it's in Rahu bupti, okay? And so Rahu's right here in the Ethereum chart. Okay, Rahu. Remember, guys, Rahu, so let's go back. Rahu started, it just entered it April 23rd, 2022, and it's going to be in this Rahu period all the way till March 17th, 2023. So a little bit less than a year, 1 month shy of a year. It's going to be in this Rahu period. But I want to remind you guys that Rahu is, you know, in a person's chart, it shows the soul's desires, right? But as a general indication, Rahu shows confusion. It's known as a malefic influence. So a lot of crazy things can happen during a Rahu period. You can have big jumps and big falls, okay? But it's typically seen as a malefic because it's a time of confusion. So when anybody's running a Rahu period, it's not necessarily, you know, even though they might take the express elevator because of Rahu, there's a lot of inner conflict happening as a result, because Rahu shows where we're not very experienced. Rahu shows a level of inexperience, okay? So when we're looking at the Bitcoin chart, or sorry, Ethereum chart, when we're looking at Ethereum chart, we have to remember that Rahu's not necessarily a good influence. So, you know, even though Ethereum is my favorite, I have to tell you guys like how I see it. So let's go ahead and take a look at the chart again. So it's in this Rahu period. The fourth house, it's not really a money house per se. I mean, like if it was somebody's chart, I could say, you know, they would make money on real estate or through their home. But, you know, this is Bitcoin. We're looking at a cryptocurrency. The fourth house, you know, it's not really one of the money houses. I usually think of the money houses of being like, you know, second house. We can do second house, 11th house. Third house is self-earned wealth. Even the trine houses, you know, like when we look at 5 or 9, you know, those houses, we can even say there might be money or some sort of money, even the 8th house in some ways. So I don't really see the 4th house typically as like a big income producing house, you know, unless it was through real estate. So that's why I'm kind of being very conservative about my prediction with Bitcoin. I'm like, you know, I don't know. I don't feel that this is a big money maker. But let me tell you what the 4th house is about, because we got to look at that. So the 4th house, guys, above all, the 4th house is going to be about security. It's about inner security. It's about finding safety. So that's why where I see Ethereum, I feel it like it's the safe place. It's probably going to be the place where you're going to maybe want to park your cash, you know, because the price might drop, but it's going to be one of those things you buy it, because even if 2022 isn't the best year for Ethereum, it's going to be really good. Let me tell you, in 2023 is when I see Ethereum is at its very beginning of its life. I still see like this is the very early days of Ethereum, guys. So just even if it had like not so good, which there's good things about this year too. So I'm not going to tell you guys it's all bad, okay? So it's a mixed year. I see it being very mixed for Ethereum. The other thing we can look at, guys, when we're looking at Ethereum, we can look at Rahu's Lord. So if we go the sign of Virgo here, and Mercury is the Lord of Virgo, right? So we look at Mercury to see, okay, So what other indications can we get about this Rahu period that Ethereum is going to be in? Okay, let's look at the Lord, because a lot of times Rahu or Ketu will act like their Lord. Well, Mercury's in the second house. That would seem pretty good. Okay, second house is a money house. However, this is the issue I have with it, is if you look at the dignity of a planet, so Mercury, if we look Mercury, it's in an enemy house, okay? So Mercury doesn't do well in the sign of Cancer. So that means it's not really a powerful planet in the Ethereum chart. So that means that Rahu's Lord is relatively weak, okay? And when we're looking at indications of what something's going to produce, you know, when the Lord is weak, you might not see much results during that Bhukti or even Mahadasha if the planetary Lord is very weak. So I don't feel like this is going to produce like the mega gains that we want it to. I feel like it's going to be more of a mixed result. Rahu can have spectacular rises and falls. I want you guys always to be aware of that. So let's go to, let me share a new screen with you guys. Go back to my presentation. Okay, so guys, mark this on your calendars with the Ethereum, okay? So Rahu Bhukti is going to be April 23rd, 2022 to March 17th, 2023. Rahu can show uncertainty because of the fear associated with it. Rahu in fourth house isn't necessarily a strong financial placement. Just like I said earlier, guys, Rahu in fourth is searching for security. But I feel like it's going to find the security, guys. I feel like it's going to find it through lots of other things. So even if ETH drops, I feel like there's all these other applications, because remember, transiting Rahu, when we're talking about transiting Rahu, it's in the sign of Aries. So it's showing the need for innovation. So there might even be more innovation that's going to come out, more things coming out on the Ethereum network and so forth. Okay, so Rahu Bhukti I see as overall mixed results, guys. Okay, the next thing we're going to talk about is the Rahu transit. So some of you guys that are new to Vedic astrology, first, when we're talking about Rahu Bhukti, we're talking about how does Rahu look in the natal chart. So you have your natal Rahu, wherever your natal Rahu exists in your chart, and then you have transiting Rahu, okay? So all the planets are transiting at the same time over your natal chart, okay? So that, in case you guys are new at this, I want to let you guys know. So let's take a look at the chart and I'll show you guys. And let me fix this. So, you know, if we're looking at Ethereum's chart, or even if we were looking at one of your guys' chart, you know, there's natal Rahu, okay? That, it's never going to change. Natal Rahu is always going to be in the fourth house of Virgo in Ethereum's chart. However, transiting Rahu, the actual moving Rahu, is in the 11th house of Aries, okay? This is where I see this whole Rahu period for 2022 being mixed. I see there being like sudden gains, but then I feel like there's going to be some drops in there as well. I see a lot of volatility, okay? But I wouldn't like look at Ethereum like it's 100% like this year. Like if you're wanting to make gains this year for 2022, I would say be a little more patient. I would say 2023. So that's why, you know, I have diamond hands on it. Just hold on to it, you know? Like even if the stock market does a big drop, which I think it's going to do a really big drop here, I think we're getting a lot of signs of 2008. And I know I'm sounding like a doomsday prophet, but I'm kind of feeling that way. So transiting Rahu, guys, is in the 11th house here. And that does, you know, the 11th house is one of those money houses that represents gains. So that's positive. It's going to be there all year for 2022. That's where I see it. It's just mixed bag. You know, it's this mix of, well, Rahu in the fourth, you know, and it's Lord Mercury. It's not that strong, but transiting Rahu is going to be in the 11th house of Aries. That's really cool. I like that. Okay. But like most charts, when we look at people's charts, it's usually not, you know, so cut and dry. We always want things to be cut and dry. Let me know, like, if we could make everything so cut and dry, you know, and I could just be like, you know, exactly, you know, this day you're going to make a ton of money, you know, then everyone would be making bank on the stock market and the cryptocurrencies, right? So there's a lot of uncertainty there with Rahu. But see, I do see Rahu transiting Aries being generally good, okay? Now, I do feel like once it hits that Jupiter Bhukti, guys, see on the bottom of my slide here, I see a lot more positive results when Ethereum enters Jupiter Bhukti in March of 2023. That's where I really see this thing taken off, okay? So let's take a look at that. Even though this is 2022 predictions, and I'm probably going to make more predictions in 2023 about Ethereum, check out this. So if we go to the Jupiter Bhukti, that starts, you know, March 17th, 23. And that's going to go for about a year, guys, okay? So starting on that date, it's going to enter Jupiter. So Jupiter's in the house, the third house of self-earned wealth. It rules the 10th house. It rules the 7th house. Those are strong angular houses. You know, the moon's going to be activated there. The moon rules the 2nd house. I mean, we're kind of just jumping all over the place. But I feel like Jupiter, since it's the planet of expansion, and, you know, it's going to be activating that moon, that 2nd lord, I feel like we're going to get a big boost there. I feel like things are going to get like really good for Ethereum. Like, yes, we're going to get some money out of this. But I feel like things are going to be a little bit sketch for a little bit. So let's go switch back, guys. We're going to talk about the Jupiter transit. You guys probably remember Jupiter is in the sign of Pisces at the moment. So let's go take a look. And it's going to be there for the rest of 2022, all the way actually till April of 2023. Okay. So let's take a look at the Ethereum chart here. So transiting Jupiter's in the sign of Pisces, guys. That's always my Jupiter because you see those little lines. You know, when you look at the planet Jupiter, you see those little lines on it. Well, okay, it's going to be in the 10th house of Pisces, which is generally pretty good. I mean, 10th house is all about public visibility, career, like really getting known, getting a lot of news. The thing that I feel like is kind of counteracting this transit is, you know, and this is happening for the rest of 2022, guys, you know, natal Ketu's there. And, you know, when I see Ketu in a house, even in your guys' individual charts, when you see Ketu, it's, you know, Ketu tends to dissipate the house that it's in. I don't usually see I haven't seen in charts that I've looked at, wherever Ketu is, usually there's not really good results in that house because Ketu shows past life influences. Ketu's like the, you know, it scatters the energy or it weakens the energy of that house. I never feel like it's a strong house. So even though Jupiter's going through the 10th house, which normally would be good, I feel like, you know, well, Ketu's there, so I feel like it's going to be negligible, the results again. So that's why I'm telling you guys about this this whole period about being mixed, right? So let's go there. So I feel like that's going to be a little bit of a wash, the Jupiter transit. Plus, it's not in Jupiter Bhukti, so it's really like not a super important transit. So guys, remember when you're looking at transiting planets in Vedic astrology, the planets you guys always want to look at, no matter what Mahadasha and Bhukti you're in, you're always going to want to look at Rahu and Ketu, where those are. You're always going to want to look at Saturn, and then you're going to want to look at the Bhukti Lord. You know, so in this case, it's Rahu again. So Rahu being in the 11th house, you know, we could see some gains this year. But like I said, I feel like it's a little bit of a rocky foundation. Okay, so I feel like there's a rocky foundation there. Let's go to the chart here. And the next thing we're going to talk about, guys, is we're going to take a look at the Saturn transit, because the Saturn transit's always important to look at. And you guys, so interesting. Let me go on a little bit of a rant, but okay, let me show you guys on the chart, and then we'll go into a little bit of a rant. Okay, so just like 2 days ago, transiting Saturn, guys, is in Aquarius. Okay, like 2 days ago, and remember, Saturn stays in a sign for 2.3 years. It's a very slow moving planet. So when Saturn changes signs, it is a big deal. It's a really big deal in everyone's chart. Now, notice, I don't know why I'm doing these little rings, but notice, guys, the first day that Saturn is in Aquarius, which is April 29th, yesterday, we just had this huge stock market drop. I mean, the stock market did like 900 points. They said that I was reading a news headline, and it said that this has been the worst performing month since 2008. So I'm going, okay, this Saturn transit doesn't really look good for the stock market. I mean, And also, when we look at Aquarius, guys, Aquarius is the natural 11th house. So not an Ethereum chart, but the natural chart, the 11th house, which has to do with stock markets, economies, markets. So I feel like there's the next few months, while Saturn's transiting this part of the zodiac, I feel like we're going to be in a rough spot. And so, you know, I would rather make that more of a, even though that sounds like a dooms prediction, I would rather give you guys the doom prediction than selling you guys a bunch of roses, you know. So anyways, it's going to be here till July, guys. It's going to be moving, but it's going to go retrograde. It's only going to be there for 3 months till July 12th. On July 12th, guys, Saturn's going to be back into Capricorn. That's really good for Ethereum, by the way. So when Saturn is transiting the 8th house, I feel like it's better than transiting the 9th house, because a malefic planet in a malefic house is good. Remember that, guys. Malefic planet, malefic house is good. So let's go back to my presentation, guys. So Saturn enters Aquarius, guys. It just entered on April 29th, 2022. It's going to be there till July 12th. So that's only a few months. First day Saturn enters Aquarius, considerable market drop. That's kind of giving you a little bit of a taste. Okay. So Saturn delays, reduces, prevents, freezes, whatever house it transits. And in the Ethereum chart, it's the 9th house of Dharma and fortune. Reduced luck and fortune during this time. So that's where I see a little bit of an issue when I see Saturn going through the 9th house. You know, in a person's chart, I could see problems with the father. Obviously, we're talking about a cryptocurrency. So I'm thinking it more has to do with the 9th house, of grace, luck, fortune. You know, 1, 5, and 9, those houses are known as the fortune houses. So let's take a look. So these houses, guys, 1, 5, and I'm making it bigger so you guys can see. All these houses right here are considered the trine houses. And that's like when you're running periods of those houses, it's usually like good luck, fortune, being at the right place at the right time. Okay. Now remember, if Saturn is transiting this house, you know, and Saturn trends to reduce and delay things, think about that. Well, okay, so is it reducing and delaying the luck and the fortune of Ethereum? Well, you know, in my mind, yes. It's reducing that element of fortune, of fortuitousness, of being at the right place at the right time. But it's very temporary. It's only till July 12th. I mean, from April to July 12th, isn't that only a few months? And then when Saturn goes back into Capricorn on July 12th, guys, it's going to be there for the rest of the year. So in July 12th, when Saturn goes back into Capricorn, guys, it's actually going to be good. So I do feel like overall, guys, I do feel like we're going to see more gains in Ethereum. I feel like we're going to see it more of the second half of the year, starting July 12th. So July 12th onward, I feel like for the rest of the year, I feel like that's really when we're probably going to start seeing this 11th house gains, okay? Because Saturn in the 8th house is really good. It's going to freeze the sudden bad, you know, the bad issues of the 8th house. So guys, whenever Saturn's transiting like the 6th house, the 8th house, the 12th house, it's actually really good when we're looking at a chart. It's really cool because it freezes the negative aspects of that house. So for example, when you guys have Saturn transiting the 6th house, that can sometimes be some of the best times of your life, because Saturn transit your 6th house and then it's aspecting the 8th house, the 12th house, the 3rd house. It's like aspecting all the malefic houses. So it can become a year, you know, a couple of years where you do a lot, you know, because you have a malefic planet in a malefic house. So let me take a look at if we have any questions. We got a hello from Sydney, Australia. Leo says, bless up. That's really cool. So that's what I'm seeing, guys. Overall for Ethereum, I feel like these first few months, I feel like we're going to see some drops because of this whole Saturn transit in Aquarius. But what I want you guys to know, it's not really, is it really that big of a surprise? I mean, think about it. You're already seeing all the market indications. You're already seeing, okay, the GDP already got reduced, you know, for the first quarter of 2022. You're already seeing the inflation's at 8.5%. You're already seeing that the Federal Reserve's raising the interest rates to try to rein in inflation. Okay. Then you're seeing that the bond market is, flashing those, inversion yield curves. I don't even know exactly how that all works, but I know, when I was reading all the economic articles, that when you see it signal, when the bond yield market or these inverted yield curves happen, that it typically is a signal of a recession. So what I'm saying is this first part of 2022 might be very dismal and disappointing, but we're already seeing it. But is Ethereum a safe cryptocurrency to buy? Rahu in the fourth house, security and safety. Yes, I do think so. I would buy more right now. If I have some extra cash, I want to buy more Ethereum. If it drops, I'm going to be like, heck yeah, I'm going to buy more. Because I'm feeling like it's just going to do great. Like 2023, when it enters that Jupiter Bhukti, I feel like it's going to do awesome. So I would buy the drops. Obviously, guys, listen to your financial planner, but I would be buying the drops this year if there's drops, especially this first half. So I do feel like there's going to be a recovery. I feel like there's going to be direct intervention by the government when Saturn enters Capricorn again, guys, in July 12th. There's going to be some government restrictions coming into play. Just because Saturn in Capricorn has already produced the pandemic, it's already produced war. We have war in Ukraine, we have war. I do feel like there's going to be some things happening. When Saturn goes back in the Capricorn, there's going to be some sort of issues, probably more crisis. That's where I see maybe there's going to have to be more stimulus checks sent out. Maybe there's going to have to be some sort of government stimulus, because I don't see good signs on the horizon here. And the midterms, especially in the United States, the midterms are going to be happening, November? They're going to be doing everything they can to bail out this economy. They're going to be throwing like everything in the kitchen sink at this economy to stop it from tanking before the midterms. So that's what I see it, guys. I see like lots of government intervention, maybe we'll get helicopter cash. I'm just teasing. So you guys, that's what I'm seeing right now. Anyways, guys, it's a money grab. Yeah, and I feel like, I'm looking at one of the comments that says, it's a plan. These leaders know what they're doing. It's a money grab, of course, and aside from, talking about astrology and Ethereum, we know that this is just one of those cycles. Again, we keep seeing this crisis cycle play out, okay? So they're going to have the economy drop. I mean, yeah, this could be planned. They're going to have the economy drop. The real estate market probably going to drop, Then, people with cash are going to be buying all these assets for pennies on the dollar for way cheaper, It's just this little cycle that they keep running through, and it's kind of tiresome in a lot of ways, But we got to look at reality. What it is, unfortunately. I mean, hopefully when we get in the age of Aquarius, we can change it to a better system. But I'm going to tell you guys everything we know right now, so that we can try to get through this, even if there's a lot of crazy things going on, so we can make it, we can get through this and make it as profitable as we can get it, So thank you guys so much for being here and watching this live stream, of course. Those of you that have watched this as a video afterward, or all of you, please comment down below. Let me know what you guys think about Ethereum. Let me know if you think I'm right or wrong, or maybe I just have it all wrong. Just let me know down below, okay? But be polite. Thank you guys, and I will see you guys in the next video. In a few days, I'm going to be putting out a video on the May 2022 predictions. I haven't done that video yet, so we're going to have to put those out so we can look at the month May. Financially, geopolitically, what's going to be going on in Ukraine. We all want to know about that too. So you guys, thank you for being here, and you guys take care.